So in a typical evaluation report, you might see language like um, the child constantly argues with adults. And in a neurodiversity affirming report, you might see the child has unique self-advocacy skills and is self-aware enough to know their likes and dislikes, right? So you can clearly say, well, they have self-advocacy skills. They're definitely saying what they want, right? And so it doesn't downplay that there is, a verbal discussion happening between the child and the adult, but it just frames it in a different light.
Mhm.
Or the child elopes 6 times per day. That might be in a traditional IEP. In a neurodiversity affirming report or IEP, you might say the child is able to meet their sensory needs by taking a break from the classroom 6 times a day. Those different things those slight reframes are really important. Now that tells us, okay, maybe this kid needs a break from the classroom 6 times a day. Let's make sure that we can do that in a way that's still safe for them and meets their needs. Or, this kid is taking a break from the classroom 6 times a day. We need to do something to make that classroom more acceptable for them, more suitable for them. So, reframing it that way, just it doesn't put it as a negative thing that the kid is doing. Even things like, you know, in a traditional IEP, you might see a child has deficits in social emotional reciprocity. But in a neurodiversity affirming IEP, you'll see something like the child has differences in how they communicate, and their social interactions might look different than someone who's neurotypical. So just those changes in wording really help shift the lens of everyone interacting with them. The report is the base of the IEP. Everything starts with that report, that assessment report. All the goals come directly from that assessment report. So then those goals become neurodiversity affirming. They focus on things like regulation. They focus on things like self-advocacy. They focus on what the child wants because child's voice is really important in the evaluation process as well for a neurodiversity affirming report. So that's one part. The goals are going to be better. Maybe I'm biased, but the goals are going to be better, and the accommodations are going to be better. They just will. Because when you're a neurodiversity affirming provider, you're going into the classroom and you're looking at what things are supporting this child right now and what things are not working. So you can really make a really solid IEP because you understand, oh, this kid's you're not just looking at this kid's moving around a lot. You're looking at, this kid likes to stand while they're working. That's an accommodation we're going to put in their IEP. So just those types of things, they are fiddling with things on their desk. Great, let's get them some fidget tools. That's a great accommodation for their IEP. So just things like that are so important because again, it all starts with the evaluation. So if your evaluation is super behavioral based, super medical model, that's that's what your IEP is going to look like too. And in neurodiversity affirming reports, we also don't just look, obviously at behaviors. We're also looking at cognitive skills, right? Where are their strengths there? How can those be highlighted? And those areas of weaknesses, how can they be supported? In what ways do they learn best? So it's behavior is definitely a big part of it than the social emotional piece, but it really is all around how can we support kids, their academic skills the same way. Maybe on standardized testing, they don't do very well, but they do really well when they're given manipulatives. Or if I add music to, something that they're doing, maybe they like matching letters to a music video, right? If it's the letter T, great, they can match letters, but on a standardized test, they don't do that. And that's because their brain doesn't work that way. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that they don't know letters. It just means that the way that they show what they know looks different. So it's really important, too, that the academic testing, any standardized testing, the cognitive testing is also paired with solid observations that show when the child is being successful and what specific things they need in order to show what they know.